Good afternoon.
How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Good.
How has season 4 been treating you so far?
It's been great. It's been just lately it kind of picked up steam when I was directing and acting, so it was a little bit, especially at this point of the season where everybody's getting kind of tired. It's getting near the end. It was a little bit much, but it's been good. We've had a lot of fun this year.
What's it like getting into that direction? Because we were just talking a minute ago about the fact that for me, a lot of times when the actors start directing their own shows, often that's some of the best seasons. So from your perspective, what's it been like actually doing it?
Well, I think it's really great. It's a really, especially, Erica's going to be dabbling in it this year as well. And what I think makes it a good choice is if there's nobody that knows the show better than the actors we're here every day. We're here, every minute of every day. Directors oftentimes come in, they do maybe one episode a year, 2 episodes a year sometimes. But nobody knows the show better than us. And especially with the amount of years that we've been hands-on in here, everybody kind of has the smallest part players in the show have a rough idea of how we shoot certain scenes, the medical stuff and how to handle it and whatnot. So I think the actors have a strong advantage, and we often have the directors asking us, so how do you guys usually do this, or how do you usually do that? So what better thing than, we know the show visually, we know the show aesthetically, we know the characters very well, we've been emotionally invested in the work, and that's especially important for a show like this where a lot of the work is emotional. We have a strong tie to telling the stories and getting the characters right and communicating, communicating the story with the other actors who we hopefully have earned their trust. So I think if it works out, it's a strong benefit to the show.
That's awesome. And in terms of Charlie this season, in front of the camera, I mean, it feels as a viewer going through the seasons that Charlie deals with things a little differently each time, because obviously there's a certain amount of time that passes between seasons. How is he dealing this season with the way things have changed, and kind of he's investigating to a certain degree where we are in the show? Right.
Yeah. This year was the one thing that I think has almost been like this little Christmas bundle that's waiting to be unwrapped is the investigation about Charlie's paranormal ability that's kind of been sort of put in the corner like baby and thrust in the corner, and been sort of sitting there for the first 3 years because we were so focused on, first season was about getting Charlie back, and the second season was how were he and Alex going to, how were was that relationship going to work, and then they were dealing with tragedy, and of course then season 3 with amnesia, and then everybody breaking up and getting together with other people for most of the time, and then getting back together and babies and all this. It's been the ghost thing has been kind of put on the back burner, and so this year it was sort of my request where it was like, I'd asked them a long time ago, like, if you had this ability, what would be the first thing that you'd want to do, and the way I was strangely enough, I got a variety of answers, which I went, wait a minute, wouldn't you want to know why? Right. Wouldn't you want to know where this comes from and what you're meant to do with it, and why you? And so Charlie's kind of trying to unpack that this year. That's I think a really neat investigation, because that's the sort of, with a show like this, we all know hospitals and we all know medicine. It's not like you haven't seen patients and things like that, and hospitals are great places for dramatic storytelling, but the one thing that we don't know is this sort of sidebar idea of the life after death quotient of things, and where we go, and what lies afterwards, and for someone who has the ability to peer into that, to peer behind that veil, we have the opportunity to just theorize what that might look like, and what it's all about, Alfie, and so that's a kind of unique perspective that we're able to offer. That's not something that you've seen before, or it's certainly a perspective that is of our own imagination and creation. So we have that ability to tell that part of the story. So we're certainly kind of doing a little bit of that this year.
That's cool. They started?
I don't know if it was.
It's just rehearsal. Okay. Good morning. So, in terms of actually Charlie's character, one of the things that over the years, he's kind of been singular and separate. And one thing this season is apparently you've got a friend who's kind of coming into things, who might be a new window into Charlie's soul in a way. What's that like?
Well, we have had another character in the past, because I think we
Right.
we overlook, which is Peter Callahan's character Randall, who is another person who saw these ghosts.
Right.
But he wasn't like a confidant of Charlie's. He was almost like a nemesis of sorts.
Right.
And we saw him briefly, and almost like you really. I still want to see Randall again. I think
Yeah.
Randall's a great character, and I think he's worthy of coming back. But this year, Charlie runs into somebody who says that she, can see the things that he sees, and so he has somebody who works in the hospital who is, experiences the same things that he's experienced, and has her own unique story and backstory as well, and can kind of hopefully provide at least. If not insight into what this is all about or why, at least can be someone to bounce ideas off of, or
Right.
someone to share, pains and understandings that only people who kind of have that experience can really understand. So they're a confidant of sorts, or a friend. And she's going to have her own, unique story that we're going to learn about, which is going to lead to its own drama as well.
I'm sure. Well, then part of that drama, in general, is what's the relationships like now? I mean, how is he dealing with relationships? Because obviously, there's a lot going on for him.
In what sense, like with romantic relationships, or
in general, or romantic, either or?
Well, I think that the one thing that Eric and I were determined about this year was that no, seriously, we were determined that the characters for the first time have there's nothing hidden anymore. There's
Right.
no more secrets. There's no more strange goings on and amnesia. Like, they actually are who they were
Right.
before the car accident. And this is the audience's first chance to see them with all their cards are on the table. She knows everything about him. He knows everything about her.
Right.
They know everything about each other. And it's all gone, and they have a child in the world to look after. And so we were determined that after experiencing a great deal of what I would refer to as sort of adolescent type behaviors, that we wanted to see Charlie and Alex as adults,
Right.
especially in the care of a baby boy, and so whatever relationship drama that may exist, we want to make sure that the characters handle it very much in an adult fashion. And in this particular case, thus far, we've been able to demonstrate that they've got a pretty strong relationship, and they are handling things as grown-ups, not overreacting for the sake of television drama. That was something that was very important for us to do, to make sure, because for these two characters now, there's nothing, there's no dramatic device that you can blame their, missing each other on. It's simply, this is them as they are. So if they can't seem to find each other in this light with all their cards on the table, maybe they shouldn't be together in the first place. So this is where it's, this is a lot of focused work. So the relationship is very adult, and it's very strong. But of course, as Saving Hope goes, it's not going to be without its pitfalls and trials and tribulations. And certainly Christine will be a source of some of that, for sure.
Nice. Well, I also want to ask about the Christmas episode, because I understand there's one coming up, and you guys just filmed it. What's that all about? Because we haven't seen anything really that seasonal before from the show, and
I think we attempted one last year that was.
I guess sort of.
It was sort of Halloween-ish,
Yeah.
but we never mentioned Halloween in it, so that
Right.
doesn't really count. But this one is very definitively a Christmas episode. And I don't know, there's always something about, especially a show like this, Christmas is such one of those great times and sad times. It contains both the yin and the yang, in the sense that there's that chance for great love and reflection, but there's also the opportunity for that reflection turning into sort of bittersweet, the people that we've left behind, and missing of loved ones and things like that. So it's this really, Christmas always tears at people's emotional heartstrings, because I think it's the quiet time of year.
Right.
That's why there's so many Christmas movies, as people actually do take the time off work and they watch some TV movies or whatever, and there's just time to think, and there's no time to distract anymore. The Christmas presents are bought, and then we're all just forced to sit there and try and get along. And so it's a complex time of year. Anyway, I'm going on about that. And so I think this show, because of its nature, it's sort of, you know, tugging at the heartstrings nature, and its strong thematic ties to love and loss, and, you know, people that have moved on, and you know, the new life coming into the world, that Christmas is a great opportunity for us to explore our themes in a magnified manner. And of course, you know, we're gonna we're gonna sit there and, you know, burst, you know, heartstrings all over the place. So they're going for the jugular on this one. So it's good. It's quite a touching episode. It's yeah, it's pretty heavy stuff, but it's good. I think it'll be great for Christmas. It didn't feel like Christmas when we were doing it.
No, I'm
like
sure.
Summertime,
Yeah.
it never
In
does, 'cause
October
you
or something? Yeah.
Well, no, even like earlier than
September.
that. Like late August and early September. So it didn't quite feel like Christmas time, but as soon as you put the tree up and whatever, and as soon as, you know, everybody's gathered around the TV and around that time of year, it's going to be. I think it'll be well worth doing. Is the best way to put it.
That's cool. Well, any last hints or things you can tell us about?
I can't tell you.
No,
You know that.
There's nothing you can share.
No,
right?
there's nothing. There's nothing to share. There's tons of great stuff coming, but I can't tell you. Yeah, for sure.
Cool. Well, we can't wait to see it.
Awesome.
Thank
Thanks.
you.